This is the Carle Thursday walkthrough. Carle, the official healthcare provider of Fighting Illini Athletics. Welcome back to the Thursday walkthrough presented by Carle. Coach Lovie Smith here with Martin O'Donnell. And Coach, in looking at that game again last week against Rutgers, one of the things offensively that the Illini struggled with, they've done a decent job of this season, was third downs on offense. And looking at that game, when you guys go back and you sit there with the offense, you and Garrick McGee, the offensive coordinator, how much do you focus on the actual third down play itself, and how much on the first and second down that got you in that situation?
Martin, of course, there's a big focus on what you do before third downs. First and second down is important. You want to have a favorable third down situation, third and shorter, or third and medium. You don't want to stay out of the third and longs, but once you get there, I mean, that's possession down, keep drives moving. We put a big emphasis on third down, the conversion rate on third downs, and looking at that game, offensively, we didn't convert enough. We have been better. And then on the other side of the ball, defensively, you're off the field. Your offense is back out there. So we had some big third downs on defense that we lost also.
Well, and Coach, as we look ahead to this week and going up to Minnesota, playing the Golden Gophers, they're a team that at least yardage-wise looks pretty balanced on offense. I mean, they run the ball yardage-wise just about as much as they throw the ball, and passing yardage on a weekly basis. When you're playing against a team that has balance, does that change what you do defensively in terms of, if you're playing against a team that's clearly a running team or clearly a passing team, does it make it more difficult, or is your defense, you're doing what you're doing?
You're doing what you're doing, but it does make it more difficult. You would like to play a team that's going to lean one way or the other. When there's balance to an offense, it's just that much harder. And they have balance. They have thrown the ball, but a lot of it was in situations when they were behind and they had to run. They had to pass. They would like, of course, to establish their run first. And, of course, we have a history with them. We know the schemes that they'll be running. And we'll need to play the run a lot better than we did this past week.
Well, and again, looking at Minnesota and what they do offensively, one thing that kind of jumps off of the stat page and certainly jumped off the game against Michigan State last week was Tyler Johnson, their receiver, number 6. 3 receiving touchdowns last year. I think he has 5 times as many receiving yards as any other receiver on their team. Is that something that becomes an added point of emphasis, especially when talking with your defensive backs in the week?
Absolutely. As we mentioned, they want to run the football, but when they pass it, they do. They want to go to a specific guy. Our players need to know that. And if we have them in passing situations, the odds are they're going to go to a certain guy. So believe my guys will know that, and they're already familiar with him. He's an excellent football player.
And we're sitting here after 6 games, so midway point of the season. Special teams is an area that a lot of people say there's a lot of hidden yards there, and I think there's been some bright spots on special teams so far this season. But how would you evaluate that phase of the game halfway through the season?
Well, special teams can, it's a big part, of course, on whether you win or you lose. And for us, we put a big emphasis on it. But you just look at the last couple games, there's been really 3 big special teams plays that have really hurt us a lot. We need to clean it up as much as anything. Early in the year, Mike Dudick's big punt return kind of allowed us to win. We need to get back to winning football games with our special team.
Well, it seemed like Nate Hobbs provided something in the kick return game last week. Your evaluation of what he brought?
He did give us a spark. He's wanted to return kicks for a while. So we'll continue to let him do that. It's not only the kicks he can return, he's a good punt returner also, so we'll see.
Well, and again, we're here halfway through the year. This is clearly a team. One of the storylines has been we're playing a lot of freshmen, starting a lot of freshmen, but there's still guys in the freshman class that have not played. Is there a point in the year where you sit down with that player as a coaching staff? You say, okay, we're going to have this person, redshirt, and what does that process look like? Is there a point of no return? What are your views on that?
Well, yes. To answer your question, as you start the season, maybe some players haven't developed as much, not far along, and in your mind you may make a decision then to try to redshirt them as you can, to let them develop. Maybe it's off the field too, in the classroom, whatever. So we've gone through a little of that. But with us, a lot of our guys have played, but there are some good football players that haven't played for us. And in an ideal world, we would like to redshirt them, but we still have to see how it plays out. After the 4th game of the season, then it's hard to get a medical redshirt. So after that period of time, and once you get to the halfway point, which we are right now, you're going to try not to play some of those freshmen. But in the end, if your team needs you, you'll have to play.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to deviate now and go into something else, non-football related.
Okay.
Weather starts to turn a little bit.
Yes.
What's your favorite cold weather food? Are you a soup guy, chili? What's the go-to?
You know I'm from Texas, right? So
I've heard.
You know, we've talked a little about barbecue. Of course, we think we're the only place that knows how to make great barbecue. Football was invented down there, all those things. But chili is also a big part of me growing up. Love chili, so that's an easy one. From now on, my wife, Marianne, is an excellent cook, makes great chili. So it's one of the few things I really love about cold weather coming in.
Do you get cornbread with the chili ideally, or is that just kind of not even?
You know, that's an excellent point. You know, real chili people, I think, don't eat cornbread with it. Oh. You know, probably crackers more so than chili, with my chili more so than cornbread.
Okay, and then again, as the weather starts to turn, Halloween's at the end of the month. If you're picking holidays, are you Halloween, Christmas, or New Year's?
Oh, that's pretty easy. It's hard to beat Christmas, but I love Halloween too. Have a lot of young grandkids and fond memories of my children growing up doing Halloween.
It's good to hear. It's hard to beat candy.
Always.
It's hard to beat candy.
Yes, it is.
Well, Coach, thanks for your time, and thanks for stopping by the Thursday walkthrough. This is the Carle Thursday walkthrough. Carle, the official healthcare provider of Fighting Illini Athletics.
Looking for a card that gives you more? Illini Visa Rewards Card. Earn points every day to fly any airline, anytime, no blackout dates. The Illini Visa Rewards Card. Available only through U of I Community Credit Union.